I was actually recording my Circles reaction video when I found out that Eminem dropped a surprise album, so I was able to capture my first reaction to the news.
No.
Hello, everybody. My name is Stan. This is my channel, FancyMemo, and today we're doing something a bit different. Instead of reacting to an album, I will be reviewing an album in the review corner. Woo! Oh, baby! Yes, I will be reviewing the new Eminem album, Eminem surprise album, Music to Be Murdered By. Eminem, legendary rapper, one of my favorite rappers of all time, dropped a surprise album this past Friday. As you saw at the beginning, I was absolutely shocked that he dropped an album whose cover art and name is inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's same titled album. Was I excited? Yes. Was I nervous about this album? Yes. Look, Eminem will forever be one of my favorite rappers, and I will defend him as much as I can because I am Stan. My name is Stan for this video. But it's no secret that he's been falling off lately. Revival wasn't his greatest work. Although I love Kamikaze, I will defend it as much as I can. It isn't on par with any of his stuff, and I can see why it's really hated. Like, he did come across as very bitter and grumpy. It just like a lot of boomer energy on that album. This album, on the other hand, is quite different because it doesn't seem like Eminem has this big message he wants to come across. It's not him trying his hardest to prove to everybody that he's the greatest rapper of all time. He's not trying to like shove stuff in your face. It really seems like he's just trying to make music on this album, you know, trying to go back to where he was before Revival happened. Now, I am a stan, but I will try to talk about this album as unbiased as possible, even though it will be hard. I will be as brutally honest as I can, because there are moments that I love on this album, moments that I hate, but overall this is just a pretty forgettable album for Eminem. Like, there are tracks in this album that he's done before but better. There's, I believe, like 3 Eminem love tracks in this album. There's In Too Deep, which, like, it's very forgettable. The hook is probably the best part of the song, but other than that, it's not needed whatsoever. And I could probably say the same for Farewell. Never Love Again, on the other hand, although it's another love song by Eminem, I do like that beat switch towards the end and how aggressive he started rapping after the beat switch. I think that was pretty cool. So yes, there are times in this album where it's Eminem trying to redo some stuff that he's done before, and like it doesn't pan out that well, but there are other moments where he does try to redo what he's done before, and I think comes out pretty well. Like the storytelling track Darkness, although when I initially heard the song I was indifferent with it because I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me at first. But when I re-listened to it and saw how creatively it was done, at first in the beginning of the track it seems like Eminem talking about himself and what he's been struggling. We later find out that it's about the Mandalay shooter, the Las Vegas shooter, and I love the message. I think gun control is important. That was a very sad moment in this recent history, and I'm glad that he shed light on this moment in a really creative way. It's not his best storytelling track like Stan. There will be probably nothing that would touch Stan's level, but I think Darkness is pretty good. And there's a cool, just old Eminem collaborations with Royce the 5'9", who's in this album a lot. I love seeing them back together again, doing their own thing, like in You Gon' Learn. I love the hook Royce provides. I love the production. It's dark and heavy. They're great lyrically on this track. They are also in the last track, I Will, which also includes King Crooked and Joell Ortiz. I think that's a great track as well. All these guys essentially rapping about how great they are lyrically, and although Eminem in this album has some bad lyrics that I will get to later, I do like how they're all spitting. They all are doing pretty well lyrically. I think the beat is amazing. I think it's perfect for that song, and I do like how Eminem is talking about how he is getting rid of that at your throat mentality that he has had recently. He's trying to be calmer. He's not trying to attack everybody who says something negative about him. He's trying to think things through, which is great. It's great to hear that. I wish he knew that before. He wouldn't be in this much hot water if he understood that before, but it is what it is. And let's not forget to mention the other track Royce and M is on, the posse cut Ya Ya featuring Black Thought, Q-Tip. I'm not really familiar with this rapper, but Denaun, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. That track is straight fire. It's crazy. It's manic. The hook is crazy. The production is crazy. Even though some people might find it annoying, but the ya 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 ya, I find that so entertaining. This whole track is great. Black Thought was fantastic. Eminem was great. Everybody on this track was amazing. There's a bunch of other great collaborations on this album. Another familiar face, Skylar Grey. She's on Leaving Heaven. Oh, this song, mwah, so beautiful, man. This is essentially a track about Eminem's rough childhood and how he was treated for a big chunk of his life. It's really depressing, and towards the end, talking about Eminem's father, who kind of recently passed away last year, and Eminem just is not having it. He doesn't care how much his father might love him. He just raps with this aggression and hatred about his father, and just talks about how much he hates him for leaving. And even though he hates him with all his guts, he's glad he's dead. He is still thankful for him leaving, because without him leaving, Eminem wouldn't be the person he is today. It's a really crazy track, and Skylar Grey is amazing. As the production builds up for the hook, she comes in and everything turns so angelic and big and epic. It's so great. So far I've mentioned a bunch of tracks already that I personally think remind me of the old Eminem. It's not as great as what he's done before, but it is stuff that sounds like he would have done in the past. But I haven't got to the other half basically of the album, where it seems like Eminem is trying to modernize his sound. There's a lot of trap beats, new artists that you wouldn't think he would collaborate with, but he does, like Young Ma on the song Unaccommodating. I like the track for the most part. I like Young Ma. I like Eminem on this track. I like the beat. I like how Eminem flows. That Ariana Grande line though, that ain't it. That was the first track of the album, Premonition, has a cool trap beat. I like the background vocals too, and that track is essentially about what Eminem has been going through in the past couple of years, the reception from Kamikaze and Revival, and how he's been taking it. I like it for the most part because it doesn't seem as bitter as he was on Kamikaze. Again, I like Kamikaze, but he did sound really bitter and grumpy. But on Premonition, I think he sounded alright. He didn't take it too far or anything. But going back with unexpected collaborations, Juice WRLD on Godzilla is in this album. I like Juice WRLD on this track, and I rest in peace Juice WRLD. I know he would have loved to be here as the album drops, because I know one of Juice WRLD's favorite rappers is Eminem. So it's cool seeing them together. I wish Juice WRLD was here to see it all unfold. But the track itself, I don't really like the beat. Eminem sounded very weird and annoying. Speaking of weird and annoying, a collaboration that I didn't like the first time listening to it, but now we have another one. Ed Sheeran and Eminem are back on a track together. Those Kind of Nights. I didn't like River from Revival. I don't like Ed Sheeran in general. I don't like this track. By far the worst track on the album. Weirdly enough, Ed Sheeran wasn't the one that ruined the track for me. It was Eminem. Again, he was very obnoxious and annoying with his flow and his inflections. And what this track is all about is just him trying to hook up with a girl at a club. A lot of corny lines like, seriously though, jokes aside, how you doing? You straight? She said, no, I'm bi. Or getting head in the bucket. Marshmallow. This ain't it. This is trash. And speaking of trash, Marsh. That song is awful as well. It has some of the worst Eminem bars in this album. Because with all this ABC shit, I'm starting to sound like Alf a bit. Alphabet. Also, plus I get dough like Ed Sheeran, so call me the gingerbread man. And this is really cringy Beavis and Butthead line. You wanna Butthead? Shut up, Beavis. Haha. Horrible lyrics. Horrible beat. The hook is trash. There are some great collaborations though with the new artists, like the one with Anderson .Paak. Lock It Up. I love Anderson .Paak and Eminem. I was worried how well it would sound together with those two having very different styles, but it does match pretty well. Anderson .Paak kills it with on the hook in his first verse. I love the track in general. It's great. The track with Don Toliver, No Regrets, is also really good. I love Don Toliver on this. This track is essentially about Eminem and just not really having any regrets for what he has been doing these past several years with all these albums dropping, and like thanking all his fans for sticking with him throughout this entire thing, even though he's lost a lot of fans. Even though it's a song about no regrets, he also talked about how he mishandled the Tyler and Earl situation on Kamikaze. He said he misplaced his anger and should have been for other people that were actually traitors. Now there's a couple more tracks I want to talk about, Stepdad being one of them. I don't like the intro, mostly because it's just a bit too disturbing for me. I work with kids. That just bothers me, but the track itself, it's cool. I like what it's about. It's really sad about Eminem's stepdad, how much he hated him. It's not really for me, but I appreciate it for what it is. Little Engine, on the other hand, whew, that was fire. Even though I can see why some people might dislike the hook, I love it. It's very upbeat. It's energetic. I love the eerie production. Overall, I do like the album. If I were to give it a grade for attempt, I would give it an A, but execution, I would have to give it a C. See, I like what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring back his old self while trying to modernize the sound at the same time. Unfortunately, I don't think it panned out as well as he hoped it did. There's a bunch of great tracks and some of the best tracks he's made in a while. There's definitely tracks on this album that is better than anything he's done on Kamikaze or Revival. But unfortunately, because of how long this track list is, the amount of duds there are in the track list, the amount of tracks that he's done before, but in this case worse, the album just didn't come across as interesting as stuff he's done before. And I know I'm comparing him with himself a lot, but you know, with someone who's as legendary as Eminem making tracks that aren't as good as what he's done before and has been having this downward spiral lately, I kind of have to in this case. So that's basically how I'm feeling about this album. If he cut out the fat off of this album, made the track list shorter, got rid of the forgettable, not needed tracks, made this album a bit more focused, just that alone, I would probably give it a decent score, like a much higher score. But for what it is, I'm gonna have to give it a 6. So that was my review of Music to Be Murdered by Eminem. I hope you enjoy this video, this review corner video. I will be making more music related content, so subscribe if you want more. I can't promise anything, but I'll try to upload a lot more. Other than that, I'm basically done here. If you like the video, like the video. Comment down below what was your favorite track off of this album, whether or not you like it as much as I did, or you hated this. I've seen some reviews, a lot of people hate this. Nevertheless, let me know how you're feeling. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Love you guys.